guys, welcome back to our channel. We're the Garso Twins. I'm Britta.
And I'm Carly.
We would love it if you would subscribe down below. We do a lot of favorites videos like this one. We do a weekly favorites series that's more lifestyle based where we pick 5 of our favorite things through the week. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe. Today we're doing one of our yearly favorites videos. This video focuses on makeup, fragrance, and nails. So if that interests you, let's get started. So how we tend to do our favorites videos when it comes to makeup is we pick one product from each category, so it's like our actual favorite. We try not to have more than one so you guys know what we've actually been loving and using throughout the year. So starting with primer, I selected the Merit Great Skin Instant Glow Serum. I generally don't really use primer on an everyday basis, but I wanted to mention this because if my skin is looking dull or I'm having dry patches, I always reach for this just because it really helps to like soften dry patches under makeup, and nothing else that I use I feel like compares to it, and it is a lightweight drier oil that does kind of soak into the skin, so I feel like this could be used for combo or dry skin. Oily skin folks probably want to skip this, but it's just such a lovely product and I definitely reach for it more in the winter time. So the Merit one was like my favorite at the end of last year, but unfortunately my bottle broke and I didn't want to spend the money to repurchase it. So I picked this up, the Ordinary Rosehip Seed Oil, and this was my exclusive primer in 2017 and 2018. I wore this under makeup every day, and I wore makeup every day back then. And I forgot how good it is. It's just like a nice oil. It doesn't clog my pores. It adds like the perfect amount of glow, probably a little bit more glow than this, but still like a very similar level. Yeah. And it just preps my dry skin for foundation. The foundation I'm going to talk about is a little bit drying, so I really needed something that would prep my skin for a drier foundation for my dry skin, and this has been perfect. I think it's like $9 now, but still really affordable, so wanted to mention this. It does have a scent. It does smell. I do feel like people said it smells more than it used to. I agree with that. Like, it didn't used to have such a strong smell, but it's still really affordable, and I can't smell it once I put makeup on top of it. Okay, for foundation, I think this was my favorite last year. The Neutrogena Hydro Boost Hydrating Tint was definitely my most used year after year. This is just the perfect everyday skin tint. There's something about it. I think it's based in like dimethicone and hyaluronic acid, and it just plumps the skin. It just makes your skin look so healthy and plump. I don't know another way to describe it, and we use the shade Nude 40. It's a pretty good shade match. I go through so many bottles of this year after year. It is just my tried and true. I love that one, but this year I picked the Glossier Stretch Foundation. I picked this up I think earlier this year. I'm in the shade, Light 4, and I love, this is a little bit drying for my skin. Like I said, I have to wear the oil underneath in the winter time, but I love that literally like the tiniest pump can cover my whole face. I feel like I'm gonna have this for such a long time because it's quite pigmented and a little goes a long way, and it gives such a nice soft focus effect. Like, I feel like since starting to use this foundation, my cheeks just look so smooth when I apply like all my products on top, and I haven't really found a foundation that does that. And like I said, I love that a little goes a long way, so again, I don't have to put a lot of product on my face, so it doesn't really ever look too heavy because I don't use that much, if that makes sense. So I really like this. I know that there's like conflicting opinions on it, but for me, it's been a win this year. And I should mention we're using these products on our faces today. Yes. Concealer, these are the same as last year. The Tarte CC Corrector, obviously I need a new one soon. We've been using this for years. It is the best color corrector. I like it because it's quite thick and tacky, so a little bit goes a long way. It's super pigmented, and you can easily dab it exactly where you have darkness. So for me, it's like right on the inner corner, and you don't have to, it doesn't spread all the way under the eye because, like I said, thick and tacky. It's perfection. It's the best color corrector I've ever used. I need a new one. That's why I don't have it out here. Mine is gone. The Thick Glow Beauty Concealer, kind of similar to this. The reason I like it is because it's very pigmented, full coverage. It's thick and tacky, so a little goes a long way, and it stays where you put it. I put it down, and then when I go to blend it out, it doesn't spread all underneath my eye and like into my fine lines, and it really just helps to make my under eyes look hydrated and covered, and that's all I want in a concealer. This is the best concealer. It's so expensive, but it's worth it. My concealer fave is the Haus Labs concealer. I'm in the shade 11 Light Neutral. Do you want to say your shade in the Thick Glow? Oh yeah, the shade is C2.5. This shade is a really good shade match for me. I love so many things about this concealer. Number one, I've had this since April. I've mostly exclusively used this concealer and it's December. I just purchased a new one because I do think it's getting to the bottom, but like there's still product in here, so I'm very impressed by that. I love the applicator. It's a pointed tip. It's a pretty flocked applicator, meaning there's like a lot of flocking. It's quite fluffy. It deposits the perfect amount in my opinion, and I was reaching for more hydrating concealers like Britta's describing in the Fit Glow up until this year. But I've realized that even though hydrating is nice for like my aging eyes, I really like something that's a little more matte because it makes my under eyes look a little more smoothed, whereas hydrating can kind of like accentuate that area for me, which is quite puffy. Well, the Fit Glow doesn't accentuate lines, which is why but some other hydrating. Yeah, like I used to love the Kosas. Well, any like serum concealer, I feel like it settles for me into like a line. Yeah, the hydrating ones never settled for me. I just feel like they reflected light. This one is a little bit more matte, so it doesn't reflect as much light, and I find that it just makes my under eyes look so much smoother. I've tried other concealers this year, and I just keep coming back to this one, and I'm like so happy I discovered it. I think it's so well, I guess a lot of people love it. I was gonna say it's really underrated, but I do think a lot of people like this concealer, but it's worth the money in my opinion because it is quite pricey, but like Britta's is too. The only powder that I've used for the past few years is the Kosas Cloud Set powder. This is a brand new one. And I usually use the shade Feathery, but I realized it's a little bit too deep for me in the winter time, so I picked up Breezy, which is this shade. I'm wearing it today, and I think it's a perfect like non-self-tanned shade match for me. And this is just such a good powder. It's super finely milled, it's baked. I use it with one of those powder puffs and just pat my skin. I usually kind of set all over, and then I'll go in with a setting spray to kind of like mesh everything together. But I love that this sets my foundation and any cream products without looking like there's powder on the skin. It's very undetectable, and it does blur, especially if you want just a powder for like touch-ups. I feel like throughout the day, if you get oily in your T-zone area, this is perfect to just go in with like a detail like small powder brush and touch up. Like I'll touch up in my forehead and like around my nose, and it's so good. It never makes you look cakey. It's really great if you have like fine lines or texture. Yes, it's my favorite too. Mine is broken right now, so but I exclusively use it with a brush because this surprisingly has good coverage. Like if you were someone that doesn't really like wearing makeup, I feel like you could like put on moisturizer and then put this on and it could cover like some redness and stuff. So I don't like a ton of coverage, so I use the BK Beauty, I want to talk about these brushes anyways, the 113 brush. It's like a flat powder brush, and just dip it lightly and put it where I need it, and I love this powder. So it is really versatile. You can build up the coverage of the puff, or you can use a fluffy brush to just not use a ton. I usually use this, which is super sheer, so like I don't mind the added coverage, and you use a typical foundation which has more coverage. So you can, yeah, like Carly said, you can use it either way. And another thing about, yeah, like I said, the Feathery shade is a little too dark because there is definitely pigment in it. So try to get your best shade match. You go at Sephora and like swatch them. Okay, for bronzer, my favorite cream bronzer was without a doubt the Milani Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer. This is the shade Hey Honey. Obviously I need a new one pretty soon. Oh my gosh, I'm already on my second one, and this is the best bronzer I have tried in literally years. It's the only thing I've used since getting it. When was it? Like June? Yeah, same. We both decluttered our makeup this week because we're on like Christmas break, you know, taking time to prep for the new year. And I got rid of like 3 cream bronzers. I now only own 3 of them, I think, including this one, because I just use this way more often than anything else. I don't even wear powder bronzer anymore. I just wear this. Can I talk about what I like about it so much? Oh, sure. Or you want to talk about it first? Well, I was just gonna say, paired, I guess I can talk about the brush. It's the BK Beauty 109 brush. This combination is perfect. This brush is a must-have. It's so good. Like when we first got it, I didn't know how to use it because I thought it was so small, but it fits into like the hollows of your cheek so perfectly, and because it has kind of like tapered bristles, it just blends it out so effortlessly and smoothly. And even if you use like a pigmented cream product with this, it still blends it out so easily, and it doesn't like, it's because it's small, it's not going to get all over. It's going to like blend out in that precise area where you're blending. Yeah. If that makes sense. But yeah, the product, I feel like for me, it's the perfect amount of pigment where it's pigmented when it first goes on, but like I said, when you blend it out, it just looks very natural. Like it looks the most natural out of almost any cream bronzer in terms of the pigmentation and the finish. Like I feel like it's the exact same finish as my natural skin, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, it's almost like a satin matte. Yeah. Like it actually dries down. I cannot stand cream bronzers that are dewy. Yeah. Because they just look so like shiny on your cheek. There's a line of demarcation between your skin and then the dewy bronzer. Yeah. I'm like, that doesn't look good on anyone. This is the perfect finish. And yeah, like Britta said, I feel like I love that it actually is quite pigmented. Again, a lot of cream bronzers, they're on the more sheer side. And like if I want to wear a cream bronzer, I don't know, I want it to show up. So it's nice that it is quite pigmented, but then it blends out really well, and it lasts all day on my skin. It lasts, especially if you set it like with the Kosas Cloud set. Again, like that is super undetectable, but it just meshes everything together, and like it'll just look like you have a bronzed face. Yeah, but I never set mine, and it lasts all day. Okay. So it is just 10 out of 10. It's so out of all the products we're talking about, I think it's the most like impressed me this year. Yeah, it like kind of changed the game for me. The only thing I wish that they would come out with like a slightly cooler toned version of it, and then it would be amazing. Like would be, especially for the price. Yes. And then my powder bronzer favorite, I have to mention this even though it's discontinued because I need your help. It's the ILIA Drawn In Nightlight Bronzing Powder. Drawn In is the shade. This is my third one of this, and I've hit pan. It is my like favorite bronzer, and they don't make it anymore. So if you know of a good like powder bronzer, I'm gonna tell you what I like about it. It's very finely milled. It's one of those bronzers where there's a little bit of kickback when you put your brush into the pan. And as soon as you place it on, and I'll just check with this brush too. The BK Beauty 107 brush is my other favorite brush of the year for powder bronzer. It like just perfectly, I feel like I dip in here and I can press it into the skin, and then I can also like just kind of pat on top, and it blends out effortlessly. It's so good. My bronzer never looks splotchy. It's the perfect size. It just blends like powder bronzer immaculately. But this bronzer specifically, it's kind of like what I like about the cream. It's pigmented enough where when you go to put it on your skin, you can see it, but then it blends out so easily that it's not gonna look patchy. It's just gonna blend out so effortlessly. So I need a powder bronzer that's pigmented, that blends like a dream, because I tried to get the NARS one and I like it. I love the color. It's super pigmented, but it doesn't blend as good as this one. So I need help. Let me know what to buy because I'm almost out of this and then I'm gonna cry. So please. Okay, no surprise here, we have the same blush favorite. It's Gucci Rosy Beige, and honestly, this is so worth the money because it's lasted me forever. Yeah, the amount of times I've used this and that I have seemingly not hit pan yet. Mine's concaved. Mine is too, but like, it's crazy. Yeah. Like, the per use cost on this has to be like a penny because I've used this nearly every time I've done my makeup. I try to use other blushes, and I do like other blushes I have, or I'll go to order a blush and then I'm like, wait, I have Rosy Beige, and like, do I really need anything else? And the answer is always no. These are worth the money. If you have a color that you can find that you love, it blends so seamlessly. It looks, again, like skin. It's called a luminous matte. Yeah, it looks like skin. It has a beautiful finish. The color is so nice. These blushes are so good. Yeah, the only thing I hate is the packaging. It looks cute. Well, the packaging, well, it's so cheap. Like I've mentioned this before. It's the closure. Well, I dropped it and this is broken, and then it completely fell out. Okay, after dropping it once. Glue needs some help, but I feel just for the price. Yeah, I feel like the closure definitely needed help, but like the vac metallization on the outside looks nice, and it's like really kept up for me. But I just think for the price, they could have done more maybe. Well, we were like, there's a hole in the bottom. Like, is it supposed to be refillable, or they were gonna make it refillable and then they didn't? I don't know. Confusing. Yeah. It's perfect. Okay, for highlighter, I discovered the Bare Minerals Opal Glow, what is this, highlighting blush this year. They sent us the whole range, and this one is like the only highlighter shade, and it is so beautiful. It's a really, really soft powder. I mean, you can even tell, it almost looks like cream in the pan. It's so soft, and so when you put it on your skin, and if you blend over top, like I put it on, put some setting spray and then go over top with like my damp beauty sponge to like mesh everything together. And I think it ends up looking like a cream highlighter on the skin. It's so undetectable. It just has like that beautiful sheen, and I think it's because it has a little bit of a pink undertone, so it kind of blends in with my skin tone as opposed to something a little bit more icy, like something a little bit more champagne that might stick out a little bit. So I've been loving this all year long. Mine is the same as last year. It kind of has the same tone as Britta's. Oh my god, what just happened? Oh jeez. Oh, that happened to me. This has never happened to me. What do I do? What do I do? It's just, yeah. Oh, okay. I'm just gonna take the mirror out. I don't need it. I don't need this mirror. Okay, the mirror just broke, but it's fine. I've had this for like almost 3 years. It's the Rose Ink highlighter, cream highlighter in the shade Glancing, which they also might not make anymore. I know, I was gonna say this might be discontinued, you guys. I don't know what's going on with that brand, but it's just so perfect. It's a cream highlighter that's actually quite dry, which, yeah, super dry. Normally, I'd be like, oh, I'm not about that, but something about this just looks so nice on the skin. Like, it never looks too wet. It has like such a nice color. Like Britta said, it has like a little bit of pink, and this is like the third deepest shade, so I was scared to get it, but I didn't want something too icy. I didn't want something too light. It has like the prettiest pearls in it. It's so pretty. I really love this. So once this is gone, which I guess I have quite a bit left, even though, again, this was my favorite last year. Like, I've used this so much. I am like notoriously pretty light-handed with my makeup, but I've used it so much, and it's obviously I've hit pan, but if you've tried this product and you have recommendations for something similar, let me know. Okay, eyeshadow favorite was a bit difficult for me because I feel like I didn't wear eyeshadows much this year. I think we all collectively did. Powder shadows, I usually just use my Sydney Grace singles, and that's kind of boring to pick as like my overall eyeshadow favorite. So I decided on the Moira Lucent Cream Shadow in the shade Comet. Obviously this is used and abused. You can't even see the Moira logo on it. It's like getting a little bit dried out. I'm wearing it today. I just think it's the perfect like deep champagne, everyday cream metallic shadow for your lid. I use this if I don't want to do an eye look, but I want to put a little something on my eyes. I'll put like bronzer in the crease and just swipe a little bit of this on my eyes, and it just looks so pretty, and it looks pulled together, but it's so effortless. This is like one of those cream putty formulas, so it's a little bit dry to the touch, not like a typical cream, and then it's like a cream to powder on your eyes. So it does crease a little bit, but nothing crazy, and the shade is like perfect in my opinion. Shout out to State of Cake. She originally mentioned this and I bought it on her recommendation. It's so good. I need a backup, I'm realizing now. Okay, mine was pretty easy because I think I mentioned this, but my whole face is so dry, but my eyelids continue to be so oily. Everything creases on me besides the MAC paint pots. So I usually just use that under any eyeshadow I have to use, and it's fine. But I discovered these earlier this year. They're the Merit Solo Shadows, and I feel like everyone talked about them when they launched, but then stopped talking about them. And I know some people had difficulty blending, but I find that if you just use a small amount and you blend quickly, they are great for me. They go on even, and they literally last all day, and they don't crease. And when I tell you that's a miracle, not just because of my oily eyelids, but I have so many folds in my eyelids that I just don't wear eyeshadow barely anymore because like you can't even see it on my eye. It's like a part of aging, you know, it's fine. But I have the shades Social and Mid-Century, and I love them both, and I literally reach for them anytime I want to wear eyeshadow. So I just was looking back at my collection, and I'm like, actually, I continue to use these a ton this year. So they're great. For mascara, I wanted to shout out, this isn't mascara, but the Essence Curl Fixing Lash Base. I need a new one because I'm realizing this is almost gone. But this is a product, it's basically like a lash glue that holds your lashes in place before mascara. So it has a really tiny wand, and it just applies a light layer, and to me it literally feels like it's gluing your lashes in place. Like, it's hard to remove, so you've been warned if you decide to try this. But I love it because my lashes fall almost immediately, and probably because most of the mascaras I like to use are thick and volumizing, so that doesn't help my case. But when I use this, it definitely makes my lashes stay straight up and curled all day long. And then my favorite mascara, I don't have it here because I ran out of it, and I honestly can't afford to repurchase it right now, but the YSL Lash Clash has been my most used this past year. It gives you the most gorgeous volume. It's incredible, and it's so expensive. I'm using the Jones Road one today. Shout out to that because I do love that one too, but YSL Lash Clash is where it's at. Okay, mine is like my Rare Beauty duo. The Rare Beauty mascara, I don't even know what it's called. It's their mascara. Is so good. I just kept repurchasing this mini size this year because every time I run out and go back to drugstore mascara, there is so many good ones at the drugstore, I will admit, but I'd just be like, oh, I missed this. And then I'd be like, well, I can justify the price because the mini size isn't that expensive and I could get like a couple months use out of it. So I keep doing that, and I love that it doesn't irritate my eyes. That is my #1 because so many mascaras irritate my eyes. I've even like retried like the Jones Road one that I used to love, and it started irritating my eyes. This one doesn't irritate my eyes, and I don't know what it is. I love the brush. I love that it gives volume. It lasts all day. It holds a curl. It's super, super black, and it doesn't smudge on me. There's like literally nothing else I could ask for in a mascara. I love this. And then brows, I only have one product, and it is the Rare Beauty Brow Gel. This stuff is probably the most underrated makeup product out there.
Underrated? I feel like lots of people like it.
Do people really? Oh,
I think so.
It's so good.
I don't think anything from Rare Beauty
Well,
is
I just
underrated.
feel like that Refi Brow Gel kind of like went viral.
Yeah.
The Patrick Ta one. And I'm like, why didn't this one ever get the hype that those ones
Yeah,
did?
it's really good.
Because it is so good. I used up a tube and I repurchased, and I said I would never buy non-drugstore brow products because it's just not a category I want to spend in. But I couldn't help myself because this stuff is so good. It holds the brows up all day. It doesn't look white. It doesn't flake. It doesn't look gummy. Even when the tube gets old, it never really gets gummy. It just like works so well. It's a clear brow gel, I should say that. Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, no, all those things. I love it too. It's my favorite brow gel. And then I wanted to mention the CoverGirl Brow Pencil because I tried a few brow pencils this year. I was like, okay, I'm gonna see if I like anything more than the CoverGirl. I tried a couple from NYX, Glossier. This is still my favorite. It's like the perfect level of pigment, and it's blendable. It deposits enough pigment in like, especially in the sparse areas of my brows, but then when I go to blend it out, the pigment remains but just blends out to look more natural, and I love it. And it's like $7 on Amazon. I've used it for years. I wasn't going to include eyeliner because I don't wear it all that often, but then I realized that this I definitely can't live without, so I needed to mention it. It's the Milani Stay Put Eyeliner in Semi-Sweet, so it's like a dark chocolate brown. And if I just do like bronzer in my crease, and again, I want to make my eye look a little bit more finished, I'll just smudge a little bit of this on, like I did it today, on the outer corner of my eyes, and then I'll use like a smudger brush and just diffuse it a little bit.
Do you have a smudger brush? I don't have one.
Yeah.
Let me know your brush.
It came with that like Ariel kit, the Ariel Morphe.
Oh, I never got that.
Yeah, and I feel like the thing I like about this is that when you go to smudge it out, again, kind of like this is the theme of everything. I like something that lays down pigmented and then blends out really well. And still, so there's still some pigment there, but it blends out to look a little more diffused. And it really does stay all day. When they say, what is it called? It's a Stay Put eyeliner, perfect name. You could probably just use the little smudger on the end as well. I'm sure this works fine.
I do that with my Victoria Beckham one.
Yeah, like I'm sure that works fine. I just have like a small smudger brush that I use, but this is so good. I feel like nobody talks about them. I also have it in green. I like that shade too. They're really good at colors, also in this range. Okay, we're moving on to lips. My favorite lip liner of the year is the Victoria Beckham Beauty Lip Liner in 02. This one, obviously I've used it. I think that this was my favorite last year too. It's just an everyday good staple, like deep, neutral, almost like mauve-y nude color.
And we love a sharpenable pencil. That one you can get really sharp and it lasts a long time.
Yeah, it lasts
It's always been my favorite, but this year I actually reached for this one more, also used and abused. The Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat in Iconic Nude. I hate how this sharpens. It sharpens, it's not wooden, it's a plastic pencil, so it doesn't sharpen great, but the color is so good. Honestly, I don't even love the formula of this. I just love the color. So if you have ones that have similar colors that are in a wooden pencil, please holler at me and let me know, because this is, I'm obviously almost out of it. It has served me well, but I'm ready to move on if I can find a color that's the same. My favorite lipstick this year is the Rare Beauty lipstick, matte lipstick in Worthy, and I'm upset because I don't know what happened to it. I put it on and now it's gone. When we were moving the products over here, I dropped some things, so I'm just gonna have to look for it later. But it's not my favorite matte formula, I should say. What I love about it is the color. I feel like it's a cool tone mauve-y nude, and that's so hard to find. It's so hard to find something that actually looks cool on the lips that's not too like gray
cool brown, you know? And I do like the formula. It's like a very creamy matte. It's just a slight too like silicone-y for my preference. I'd prefer something that's a little almost like powdery smooth, like Lisa Eldridge, to something that feels like dimethicone smooth. But I do like it. I mean, it was my most worn lipstick of the year, so obviously I love it, but this shade is perfect in my opinion. And then my favorite like lip treatment was the Jouer Essential Lip Enhancer. I went through like, this is my third, this is a small tube, so I went through like 2 mini tubes and a full size. It's so good, and I think they might be discontinuing this because it's like not available anywhere. So again, if you have something similar, I love that this actually treats my lips. I would put it on at night, and in the morning my lips actually feel moisturized. Even last night, like I've been wearing the Laneige lip sleeping mask overnight, and I wake up and my lips are so dry, like immediately need to put more on, whereas when I use this I don't have that feeling. And I believe there's Maxi Lip in here, so I think it plumps over time as well, but it doesn't have any tingling sensation. It has like a perfect amount of cushion and shine. It's so good. I'm so sad if this is going away. I feel like this is the theme of the video. So many things we love are no more. Okay, this is so underrated, as is every Lisa Eldridge product. But I just mentioned that Lisa Eldridge Velvet Matte Lipsticks are our favorite lipstick formula of all time. And the first one that we wore and abused is Velvet Fawn. Yes. And mine's just 5 years old now, so I can't really use it. I just feel like it's a little too old, and Britta's broke. But we both purchased this a few years ago, maybe a couple of years ago, the Velveteen Liquid Lip Color, or maybe last year? Yeah, last year. I think, in the shade Fawn. And I ended up reaching for this so much this year, so I had to mention it. It is a matte lipstick, so don't think it's not. Like, if you don't like liquid lipsticks, this is not for you. But yeah, it's very like matte. Yeah, but it is just, again, like it's one of those versatile products. As you can see, it like actually has a sheen at first, so it can blend over the lips so easy. Like, I mostly have worn this, like put lip liner on, put this on, literally blend it with my fingers, wait for it to set down, and then it just gives the most like soft focused look on your lips, and it lasts through like meals. It looks so nice, it fades nicely. Today I had like a shinier Revlon lipstick over my lip liner, and I just felt like it didn't have enough opacity, so I put this on top of that lipstick, and again, just like dabbed it on, blended it out. And so like you can put it on top of things, you can put it under things, you can layer stuff on top. Like, it's just such a versatile formula, and I just reached for it so much this year. The packaging's really nice too. Yeah, so I had to mention it. It's her Velveteen Liquid Lip Color in Fawn, but it does dry down to like a drying matte feeling. If you don't like that, this isn't for you. But I love when matte lips, like I love matte lips because they can make your lips look so soft focused. Yeah. And that's what this is. My lip category is kind of out of control. The INN Beauty lip oils, Britta introduced me to them, and I just was shocked at how much I've reached for these this year. That's true. I keep cinnamon roll in my purse. Yes, I was gonna say, I always kept one in my bag, either Merlot or Cinnamon Bun. They were my most used colors. I have 4, but these were my most used, and they were just so nice to like apply over lip liner, just apply when I felt like I needed something. Had to mention they don't have too much shine. They're like the perfect amount of cushion and shine and body. Yeah. In medium of all those things. And then this I just kept reaching for throughout the day, like on my nightstand, so I had to mention it. It's the Naturium Phyto Glow Lip Mask, and it's such a large fill weight, like it's huge, and I made quite a dent in it. But I like this at nighttime, I like this during the day, I like this when I'm just home and need something on my lips. It like is really occlusive, and I ended up reaching for it way more than I thought I would, so I had to mention it. And then last but not least, this is not my favorite lip balm formula, but I had to mention this because I used it the most this year. It's the Glossier Cookie Butter Balm.com. I love the smell. It's a brown color because it's the cookie butter. And I kept this in every single bag that I was currently using this year because it's not that shiny. It's almost like it's not matte, but it's definitely not shiny, but it's hydrating enough that like throughout the day in winter, summer, spring, fall, any season, if I just like put this on my lips when I was out and about, it did the job. Like, it kept my lips moisturizing without adding color or without adding like this shiny lip, because if I wanted a shiny lip, I would just put on one of these. So this was just such a useful product to me this year, and I had to mention it. And it is a good formula. Like, it's better than I had remembered. And this is the original Balm.com formula that I believe they now just have. So, and I love the cookie butter smell, and I love the cookie butter packaging. I think the color is really cute. Okay, next up is fragrance, which was honestly a huge category for me this year. I purchased so many perfumes. We launched perfumes, or at least one of them with Dyad.
Yeah, I didn't buy a lot at all, so it's pretty easy for me.
Okay, well, my number one most used, clearly, like I'm almost gone with this, is our perfume Dyad Rise and Shine.
It's my most used too, between the testing,
yeah,
and then just using it before we launched it, after we launched it, used a lot.
we've talked about it so much, so I'm not gonna like talk your ear off, but if you want a sophisticated cinnamon coffee cake scent, this is for you. It opens up with like those really like spicy cinnamon notes, and then it dries down to have a really creamy vanilla, but it's still very wearable. It's not overly sweet. It has good staying power. I love everything about it. Obviously, it's ours, and it was our bestseller for Dyad for the year for sure. So we're grateful for it as well. And then I feel like my other most used kind of everyday vanilla scent was Flora Vanilla Skin. This is just the fragrance mist, and I know it looks like I haven't used it a lot, but this is my go-to. I usually like to put on just a couple spritzes of perfume before bed, and I don't want to use like a perfume because I don't want it to be overpowering. I just want like to smell good before going to sleep, and so this was perfect for that because it does have pretty good projection for a fragrance mist, like a body mist, but it just is like super warm vanilla, kind of like all the things I love about Rise and Shine, but this one has a little bit more musk. It has, let's see, pink pepper, pink apple, sugar crystals, lily, jasmine petals, cashmere wood, vanilla, sandal, and sandalwood. So, you know, it's like a vanilla skin scent, I would say, and I don't know anybody that doesn't like this. Like, I feel like if you are looking for a safe blind buy, this would be it. It's not overly sweet. It does have those like skin scent qualities. So I want to mention it because it's also so affordable since it's a body mist.
Okay, besides Rise and Shine, the only perfume this year that like stopped me in my tracks is Room 1015 Wave Child. Britt and I share this little bottle, but I'm probably gonna have to buy the full size at some point.
I wish they had a 50 ml. Like, it's annoying they have it's 100. That's way too much.
It's just literally
It's
so
so
good.
good.
Every time I smell this, I'm like, who made this? Like, who was the perfumer behind this? Because this is so incredible. It's a watermelon fragrance, which sounds crazy. Like, usually we don't really go for fruity scents, but we smelled this and could not stop thinking about it. It's watermelon, but there's a huge cocoa note in it, which really grounds it. It's just wearable. It's weirdly like fruity, but wearable. And the watermelon does actually last throughout the day. Usually that's a top note that like flashes off, and so to get it to last is really difficult, and they did that. But yeah, the cocoa really like grounds it. It kind of smells leathery too, although that isn't listed as one of the notes. It's like a, I don't know, like sophisticated, like kind of deep fruity scent, which is so rare.
And it lasts really well.
It lasts really long. And it sounds like, obviously we wore this, or like tried to wear it mostly in the summer. We got at the end of the summer, so we couldn't really, but it really can be used all year round.
Yeah.
So Wave Child, it's amazing.
So good.
It is amazing.
Okay, and then we quickly want to mention our nail favorite. This is the same as last year, probably the year before, but we use Dazzle Dry. There's a whole system that you can buy on Amazon or their website.
The red on right now. What is the red? Because it's my most worn.
Yeah, the red is Rapid Red. So I'm going to mention that because I love the red, and it lasts like 1 to 2 weeks on us, which is amazing. Nothing else lasts like this, and it's pretty easy to do at home. And then Chic was my favorite nude that I would wear, but they discontinued it. Once again, something else in this video that got discontinued. So we replaced it with Fringe, which is a pretty neutral, deeper brown, and this has been beautiful.
It's nice.
So I love this shade as well, but yeah, Rapid Red is our go-to.
Oh my gosh, if you made it to the end, thank you so much. We're so happy you were with us this year. Let us know your favorites of the year. We'd love to know, especially we need some recs. We told you guys we need some recs. We need help. Let us know.